Obviously, this year's a little different. We were home every game last year in the playoffs. This year, we're going to be on the road every game. So it's going to be a challenge in itself. Obviously, this week is going to be a huge challenge for us. This defense is extremely talented. Vic Fangio has these guys playing at an extremely high level. Khalil Mack is one of the top 3 defensive players in the league. But they got talent all over the field. It's not just him. So we're going to have our work cut out for us, and it's going to be a good game.
I know that the playoffs are like a clean slate, but how much can you guys put into the fact that you guys had 3 really tough games to get to this point in the playoffs?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we didn't sneak into this thing. We had to earn our way into it. But at the same time, everything's 0-0 right now. Everyone's record's the same. You got to focus on being the best team you can possibly be because you don't know when this thing could end. So we're doing everything we can this week, exhausting all options to go out there and play our best football because nothing in the past matters right now. The only thing that matters is playing well on Sunday.
So many people want to.
Does that momentum kind of help you guys going into the postseason? I mean, pretty much every game for the last 6 weeks was kind of like a playoff game for you guys.
I mean, we have a lot of confidence in our abilities as a football team. Obviously, the first 10 weeks of the year didn't go exactly as planned. But I think the past 6 weeks, we really started to play up to our potential as a football team. And we're extremely excited for this opportunity. I mean, we didn't even know if this opportunity would be real because of everything that happened the first 10 weeks of the year. But we're a confident group. We've played in a lot of big games as a group. But come Sunday, all that big experience isn't going to matter if we don't go out there and execute.
Nick has said he's aware that this could possibly be his final games as Eagles quarterback. Do you take every single moment that you have with him after what you experienced in the Super Bowl last year in the run, these moments this week, everything you think?
Yeah, I mean, Nick is, first and foremost, he's a great person. He's a really cool guy to be around. He does a really good job, I think, of just keeping everything in perspective. He's always calm and collected, always positive. And so we're going to do everything we can to make sure this isn't the last game he plays in an Eagles uniform. And, I mean, everyone enjoys each other on this team. There's not like there's a bad guy in this locker room that you don't want to be around. Everyone has fun being around each other. We're an extremely tight family. I know I think that's a very overused term in the NFL, but I think with our team, it is true. Everyone enjoys being around each other. We work hard extremely or all the time for each other, and it is a fun group to be around.
Does it blow your mind when you look at what Nick has been able to do, especially in the playoffs, what he's been able to do in December or later in the last 2 seasons?
Nothing really surprised me with Nick. I mean, he's so calm and collected. It doesn't really matter if it's like week 1 of the regular season or the Super Bowl. I mean, he's always got that same perspective that it's just a game of football. He's going to go out there and enjoy it. He's always going to maintain that perspective. I think that really resonates with guys because he doesn't try and make anything too big. We just got to go out there and play football, and that's all it is.
Do you guys feel like you're kind of that underdog role again? I mean, a lot of people are maybe not thinking you guys can do much. You're big underdogs going into the game. Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could use the same thing as last year, but at the same time, we are the 6th seed. Last year was different, obviously, being the underdog. This year, we're kind of rightfully so the underdog. But at the same time, we're extremely confident in our abilities as a football team. We got all the confidence in the world of the guys that are going to be taking the field on Sunday. It's going to be a really tough game. I mean, that defense is physical. This game is going to be a very tough game to win, but we're excited about it.
You obviously want to take it one game at a time, but is it intimidating at all being the 6th seed and knowing everything's got to be on the road?
No, everything at this point, I think all the records kind of go out the window. It's a one-game season for us. We've played a lot of road games this year. We've played 8 road games, so another road game isn't going to be too scary per se. We're just excited about the opportunity to have another game with each other and hopefully get a win.
And with Khalil Mack and where he plays all over the defensive line, are you and the other tight ends prepared to have to do some extra blocking with him?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the coaches need me to do, I'm willing to do, whether it be block every play or try and catch as many balls as I can. It doesn't really matter to me at this point. I think in the playoffs, all that matters is winning football games. In the regular season, all that matters is winning football games. So I'm just going to go out there and do everything I can to find a way to win the football game. But we got a lot of confidence in our offensive line. Our 2 tackles are 2 of the best in the league. So we got a lot of confidence in those guys.
When you look back at last year and what you guys did against the Vikings, who were the best team in the NFL defensively,
Yeah.
points, and you guys put up like 35 or something like 31, 35, whatever
Yeah.
against them. Is there anything you can draw from that experience going up against a top defense in the playoffs and go, we were able to figure that out? There's maybe some similarities here, stuff like that, or is it completely different?
I think it all just comes down to execution. Those guys are still NFL players, just like we are. Obviously, these two defenses are extremely talented, but at the same time, if you're executing at the level that we're capable of, you can't put too much focus on what they're doing. You got to focus on what you're doing as a football team, as an offense. And if we're executing at a high level, I think we'll be able to hopefully move the ball against these guys, but it's not going to be easy. These guys are extremely talented players.
When you look back to maybe like 6 weeks ago, or after the Saints game, maybe after the Cowboys game, is there something you can go back to that maybe all of a sudden with this team? It looked like after the Saints game, you guys talked about being embarrassed. After the Dallas game, the season might be over.
Yeah.
Did something click, or did something change? You feel like at all, or
We just kind of stuck to the process. I mean, I think that phrase is very often overused in this city. But at the same time, I think it holds true. I mean, we didn't panic by any means. No one was out there pointing the finger. Everyone was just focused on doing their job better. We weren't executing at the level that we were capable of. Guys weren't playing up to their capabilities. And it wasn't one guy. It was each and every person on the offense. And so guys I think we practiced harder. Guys were pouring everything they had into being a successful team and a successful offense. And we didn't make it bigger than it was. I mean, we just had to go out there and play football to the best of our abilities, and I think everyone did that.
You guys added Golden mid-season.
Yeah.
That can be, he's a terrific player, obviously, but that can be a challenge for an offense to assimilate a player like that at the midpoint of the year. How has that gone now that he's been here 8 weeks, and I'm sure he's got a better sense of things. You guys have got a better sense of how to work him in and all that. What's it been like?
I mean, Golden is a great person, first and foremost. He's fun to be around. He's a really good teammate. I'm glad he's on our team. Is it easy to assimilate an offensive guy in the middle of the season? No. That's just a matter of fact. Especially in this offense, everything's extremely detail-oriented. Most of the time it takes a year and a half to learn the offense. But at the same time, Golden picked it up pretty quickly. And so he's a talented player. I think everyone knew what we were getting when we traded for him. The guy had 90 catches in back-to-back years. He's really talented after the catch, which was something that, we don't have a lot of those guys that are really good after the catch like he is. So we got another game to try and make this thing work and I think maximize the value of that trade. But at the same time, it's not my job to kind of evaluate those things.
Were there times when it seemed like the offense was doing anything to kind of make it easier for him, during a game perhaps?
In what sense?
In the sense of
forcing him the ball?
And not necessarily forcing the ball, but maybe running a certain play, that...
I think when you look at film, you understand what a guy's strengths and weaknesses are. As coaches, you want to put players in situations to be successful, and off the film, you can see what Golden's strengths are. He's very quick, he's very shifty, and he's very good after the catch. So you want to put him in situations like that to be successful. In our offense, those things were already built in, so you didn't have to reinvent the wheel to get him involved. You just put him in the spots where you know that he didn't have to think too much because when you're thinking too much as a player, you're going to play slow. And so I think he's a very, very talented football player, and I know he's going to help us in this playoff run.
Zach, the last few weeks, one thing, as far as the offense goes, you guys have been playing better. One area that stands out is the way Alshon's played. He just needs to be getting the ball a little more. What have you noticed maybe different? He had a rough stretch of it, but one of the worst of his career, maybe for 3 or 4 weeks. What do you feel has changed watching film, seeing what's gone, whether it's you guys just trusted him more to throw contested catches, or what's been different to allow him to kind of excel the way he has the last few years?
I think defenses, each and every week the defense is going to be different. And the past couple of weeks, at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of focus on him. Rightfully so. He's a phenomenal player. The past couple of weeks, there are times where I'm getting double teamed and he's in one-on-one coverage, and I think he's going to win those 90% of the time. So we're just trying to do, whatever the defense takes us. Obviously, we're not trying to force feed anyone the ball. We're just trying to get everyone involved. And the quarterbacks do a great job of that.
Now getting a chance to start in your first ever playoff game this Sunday?
No, not really. I'm just still taking it game by game. It's something I do when the season's over, when I'm at home. So that's probably the time I'll sit back and recap on everything.
What are the veterans like Malcolm telling you about what to expect this Sunday?
It's a totally different game. I mean, the game speed, everything, every play counts, everything matters. It's definitely a different atmosphere when you're out there.
Can you reflect on the journey that the team has taken to get to this point? Where at one point you were 4-6, and you have the loss to the Cowboys. Looks like you guys aren't going to make it, but you rally win the last 3 games to get in.
It was definitely a roller coaster, up and down, and bumpy roads, and you got a bunch of guys on this team that stay committed, and they'll never give up on no matter what, and love to face adversity. Don't put it behind them. They put it in front of them and attack it. So that's the good thing about this team, and as you keep battling the fight, you get inside the postseason.
How much does it help the fact you guys are battle tested this way going into the playoffs?
It happens. It's good because now we know how it feels to be down. We know how it feels to be up. We know how it feels to be down in the game and come back and win. We know how it feels when it's a close game and able to pull it out. So, we went through all the scenarios and we know how to get it done.
For you, Cravon, and Rasul, you guys weren't the stars at corner to start the season. So how special is this for you guys that you can make your mark on a team that's looking to defend the Super Bowl championship?
It's very special. I mean, just being out there, just being on the Super Bowl team, able to compete and play for this organization is definitely special. You got guys that coming in, like Cravon coming right in mid-season and, playing the nickel spot, which is not easy, and getting it done. Rasul stepping up out there on the other side of the corner and, catching picks and first plays of the game. So, you got guys, and when you got guys doing that, it's just exciting, fun. When you out there on the field, you want to be out there to make a turnover.
Speaking of the picks, you guys have done the ski mask thing now for about a month, and the takeaways have improved a lot. Do you think there's a correlation there?
It's kind of like a prize. Like you want to be able to wear the ski mask. So anytime the ball coming up or in the air, you want to be able to make that play so you can be able to wear it on the sideline.
What's it like having someone like Malcolm who played every single snap on defense this season to help lead the secondary and kind of be a guiding force for you young guys back there?
Everything. You got a guy that's a leader on and off the field. When you're on the field, you never see him panic. He always just normal, and it's like he don't. So when you're looking at your leader and you see he's not panicking, nothing like that, it's like, oh yeah, we got this. So you look at him as definitely a leader, and he goes out play every snap. You never got to count on him missing one, and he gives it his all. Perfect teacher. So you get everything in one with him.
How has he helped in just trying to keep this a business as usual week, not looking at it as a playoff game, especially for younger guys like you, just trying to keep it business as usual?
Come in and you still, even though it's a playoff game, you still got to smile. You still, have your jokes. When we get in the room, you don't want to be all tight, but, it's still all business, and what we got to do to get the job done.
What are your thoughts looking at this Bears offense from a scouting report standpoint?
They're pretty good offense. First, we got to stop the run, as always. Stopping the run is definitely a key. Then, as they start throwing the ball around, we want to make sure we be able to bring the ski mask out. We got to get as many turnovers so we can be able to get it back to our offense, so we can be able to make some plays there.
What's the challenge of a big back like Jordan Howard then being paired up with a Darren Sproles-like running back and Tariq Cohen back there?
Yeah, that's good. They got both. You got the power and they got the elusiveness. So, that's a very good thing right there. They have clicking. We got to be able to stop the run. And when they got 29 in, you got to be able to stop the pass. So, you got a good deal right there. And, game planning this week. Definitely game planning both gets it.
Is he a challenge because he lines up everywhere in formation?
Yeah, he definitely lines up everywhere. Moves, shifts, a lot of motions, so definitely challenging.
When you look at the receivers, guys like Gabriel and Miller bring a lot of versatility, a lot of dynamic playmaking ability to that defense. And then you have Allen Robinson as well. What's it like when you're going against 3 varied receivers who bring a lot to diversify the offense?
It makes it fun. You out there competing, you having fun, lining up against guys that that can get the job done, and you want to prove yourself. So it's definitely fun. You got a good quarterback. A lot of RPO things going on, things moving parts, and you just got to make sure your eyes right.
Is that misdirection element one of the biggest challenges, all the eye candy that they're going to have back there?
Yeah, definitely. You got to be sticky on your guy. Even if you might look like a run, it can be a pass. So definitely got to be on you, man.
I guess we're just getting more aggressive, and playing the ball better.
I know it seems kind of silly, but the ski mask, does that go with a mindset of you guys wanting to attack and get the football back?
Yeah, we call it robbing somebody, so we just try to get as much turnovers as we can. Any defensive player who gets a turnover or forces a turnover gets to wear the ski mask. We don't really care about defending the Super Bowl. We're just trying to win games. That's just our mindset.
Malcolm played every snap on defense this year. He's pretty much done that since he's been here. As a younger player, when you look at a guy who's been able to be that durable and consistent, what do you come away with when you look at him?
Just the way he takes care of his body. He's always in a cold tub. I come here in the morning, he's in a cold tub reading a book or something, so he takes care of his body.
What do you think of your journey this season, from the way you started to being an integral role, having an integral role in helping this defense get to this point?
Just try to get better with the time that I was given. Then had to transition my body in from being a part-time player to a full-time player with taking over the position. Just try to get better every day.
What changes did you have to go through to be able to make that switch?
Studying more, knowing that my number is not going to be called, it is called. So it's a mindset thing.
Schwartz was talking about kind of how much you've improved and sort of persevered throughout the course of the season. I mean, has this been a year where you kind of learned something about yourself, or just sort of the last 6-8 weeks, that type of thing?
Just playing more freely. And the coach is doing a good job putting us in positions to make plays. So.
What do you think the biggest challenge this defense has this Sunday? What's the hardest thing?
Stopping the run. I think they do a good job running the ball. So you definitely got to stop the run, make them one-dimensional, and see what our chances are from there.
And Trubisky, what's his strength from what you're seeing on tape now?
He's a good quarterback. He has good weapons around him. When you can run the ball as good as they're running the ball, it makes it easier for you.
They've improved the weapons around him compared to when you guys faced him last season. How much of a difference has that made for the offense?
Big difference, because he's not looking for one guy. I think if you look at the stats, every guy has receptions, targets, so he's getting the ball to every guy.
So the importance of the corners in the run defense. I mean, you guys are generally the ones they're leaving unblocked, so it's been important that you guys have been able to tackle well, and you really have.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the mindset for the offense. Just block everybody else and see what the corner does, because most corners in the league don't tackle. Well, our coach makes us tackle a lot. So,
how difficult is a player like Tariq Cohen, who's going to be lined up all over the formation, could be split out wide, use out of the backfield as a gadget player? What challenges does he present?
A lot, because he plays special teams as well. And he's a guy with the ball in his hand, he's capable of doing whatever he wants to do. So we just have to slow him down, keep him in tight spaces, and make it harder for him.
What sticks out to you about Allen Robinson?
He's a good route runner. He makes contested catches.
Who do you think is the best player on the Bears offense, just from what you're seeing?
Probably one of the running backs. Yeah.
So how important has Malcolm been for you guys in the secondary as far as keeping you all on the same page over the last 6 weeks after that New Orleans game and just settling down and playing as well as you have?
That's the general of our room. That's our leader. That's who we look to when things are going wrong in the game. We sit down, we talk to Jenkins. So he's been valuable to all of us. He teaches us. He helps us get better. He knows the game, probably better than all the DBs, especially because we're younger and he's been in the league for 10 years, 11 years. Him and Corey Graham know a lot about the game. They've seen a lot.
I know you guys always believe in yourselves, right? All season long you're saying, we're good, we're the defending Super Bowl champs. But have any of you had a moment here to think, the season did not start off very good and look back in the playoffs after winning a Super Bowl last year?
Yeah, well, once we started off bad, it was just the goal switched to just get in the tournament. Yeah. Like Doug said, the goal is just to get in, and then when you get in, whatever happens there happens.
You guys play at your best, it seems, when your backs are against the wall. This is a different challenge than last year's playoff run where you've got to win 3 consecutive games on the road. How are you guys preparing mentally for that you're going to have to be on the road for the next month?
Man, we've been on the road, so we know how it goes. Tough crowds, weather. We just got to go there and play.
So what the guys say after that Cowboys loss, that seems like a turning point for the team, just in the locker room after that game or during the week. What did it mean to kind of, did the teammates sort of have your back and support you, and did you lean on anyone in particular after that game?
Yeah, teammates, we a family here, so teammates are definitely helping me out, let me know. 10 times out of 10, I'll pick you to make that play all the time. The ball didn't bounce the right way. We got to move on. And I feel like as a team, we gave everything we had. We came up short, but we fought together. So.
How much does last year's playoff experience help you where a lot of the players in the Bears are going through this for the first time?
I mean, I didn't really play last year in the playoffs, so I really don't know. Like, what I was averaging about maybe 5 snaps a week, so I really can't tell you.
Has this been a difficult year for you? Just I know you had stuff off the field, and then kind of the way the season has gone, and now earning a role. What's that sort of roller coaster been like for you this season?
To me, football is the only thing that gets my mind off everything. When I'm here practicing, when I'm on the field playing, I don't think about nothing else in life but just playing football. So this is honestly the best thing for me because it keeps my mind right.
Does what's happened off the field help fuel you and inspire you that much more?
Yeah, definitely. I use that as my reason of why I play the game, how I seen the game. So.
It's kind of fitting that the year where you're going through turmoil off the field that you have this opportunity, that you have a chance to entrench yourself here with the defense?
Definitely. I have a big opportunity now where at least I make some noise and lead the rest up to the coaches.
A lot of people talking about the Bears front. Does that, you guys take that personally?
No, you can't take it personally. Khalil Mack is an outstanding player. I mean, I've had a chance to play with Khalil Mack a couple of times, and he's an outstanding guy. He's able to rush the passer so many different ways. Akeem Hicks, really good player. I think he's on the up and up as a defensive player in this league. And then also Eddie Goldman, Floyd. There's a lot of great weapons. Jackson, DBs, and corners, Fuller, and all those guys. I think they just have a lot of great players, and I think Raquan Smith, all these guys are really good players when you think about defense, and I think they have a great front, and you just want to be able to play. But Vic is a great defensive coordinator. I had a lot of chance to play against his defense when I was in Seattle and watched those guys in San Francisco with Justin Smith, Ray McDonald, Alden Smith, Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, Carlos Rogers. All these guys, Deshaun Ghostin, there's a lot of great players on that team, and the same defense is the same way that they're doing now. And I think he just has a great way of putting a lot of great players in a lot of great positions, and I think that defense is one of the best in the league.
Mike, in the locker room after the game, Malcolm had a message, and we've seen some other guys have it on social media that you cracked the door open and let us in. Now it's time to dance. Is that sort of the opinion that you take going into this one or not?
I don't look at social media, but I don't know what they do. I mean, the only thing I could do is go out there and play as high as I can. There's no social media quotes that I can, use to chilly up the fans. But for me, it's just going and executing at a high level, and the rest of us executing at a high level. I think, like I said, we're at this point where we're moving. We got the engine going. We got a lot of great players. Nick is playing great, and we just got to keep going.
What stands out to you most when you look at the Chicago offense?
Chicago offense, like I said, I believe the running backs. I think the running backs are a great group of running backs. You got a running back who can do the stretch game very well, who can catch the ball in the screen game, who's able to affect the game in pass and special teams. Then Howard is just an outstanding running back when it comes to be able to power and force and how he runs the ball. And offensive line is really good. Matt Trubisky is a nice quarterback. The way he does things as far as with the option of being able to get the ball into the quarterback's other receivers' hands, and Robinson's a good receiver, and the rest of the guys are really good.
This is Trubisky's first time in the playoffs. How much weight, as a veteran in this league, how much weight is there for playoff experience getting into this point of the season?
0.
Okay. Why is that?
It's just another game. I think it's just you execute on differences that you don't get another opportunity after that, and I think you just have to play your game and keep moving forward, and I think that's what the main thing is. I think this guy can come in and play and make plays, and we just got to be able to stop him from making plays.
Malcolm, you've played every defensive snap this year. You've been close to that just about every year you've been here. What's been the secret?
I'm blessed, to be honest. I mean, it's not much I can really, take credit for. This game has a 100% injury rate that, everybody who plays this game will be hurt at some point in time. And so for me to be as available as I've been since, putting on this Eagle uniform, it's one of those things I've been blessed to have that. Obviously, I take care of my body. I do a lot of things to make sure that I'm available, but some things are unavoidable. So, I consider myself to be blessed.
As you've gotten older, have you learned a little bit better how to take care of your body?
Yeah, I mean, longevity is a serious thing in this game. We play a violent sport that puts a lot of wear and tear on your body. So, to be able to play it for as long as I have now, and perform at a high level, you got to make sure that your body's, recovered, that it's prepared to be able to, last a whole season, last all the banging, all the miles you're running, all that stuff. So I think our staff does a great job of training us to get us recovering. We do a good job of balancing reps in practice. So all of that plays a part.
From the outside perspective, so many people want to pull from or make comparisons to the Super Bowl run that you guys went on last year, and now you're going back into the playoffs this year. Is there anything that you pull from, or is it really just different team but maybe same level of excitement?
Oh, I think that the only thing that we can pull from last year is just the experience of playing in a playoff game. And a lot of that really, the majority of the conversations we were having were how to not make it be too more than it is. We were talking about, a playoff game is the same thing as a regular season game. It's just obviously more on the line, but the task at hand is actually the same. It's still a game. The rules are still the same. Field's still the same. And so for us, now that we're obviously in a lower seed, same conversations, but nothing we did last year, I think, gives us any advantages this year. We had the context was totally different last year. We were talking about winning 2 home games and then being in the Super Bowl, where now, we're going to be on the road, for a while here, which is fine. But I do think, we have the mentality and the players in this team to take on the challenge that's presented.
What's the biggest thing that stands out when you look at the Chicago offense?
I mean, they do a good job running the ball, and they do it, in a multitude of ways that put their players out in space. They obviously got 2 running backs that are completely different when they talk about their running styles. They got receivers making plays. Trey Burton's tight end obviously does a good job. So very balanced. They don't tip off too many of their runs and passes with formations or personnel. So there's a lot of things you got to get, ready for. Things they might do once or twice a game, but it makes you prepared for. So the creativity, the RPOs and advantage throws, really the quarterback looks up, counts. Where do you have the least amount of people on the defense, and that's where the ball goes. So presents a little bit of challenges.
Malcolm, the way you guys are playing right now, how dangerous of a team do you guys feel like you are with momentum going into the playoffs?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, for us, we'll have an opportunity to line up against the Chicago Bears on Sunday, and we'll go compete. So whether people think we're dangerous or not, at the end of the day, we feel like we can play with anybody in this league. Sorry, that question I don't really have an answer for that.
No, that's fine. But like you guys have, won 5 of 6 going to the playoffs. You're playing your best football. Can that carry over, or is it you throw?
Not unless we do it on Sunday. I mean, nothing we've done, the momentum coming off of wins, none of that stuff matters. We got to go execute on Monday. It comes down to, Sunday, it comes down to whoever the best team is on that day. And that's the beautiful thing about the playoffs. You can win every single game, in the regular season. Once you get in the playoffs, you can go to a wild card and lose it. You got to be the best on that day.
Malcolm, how did the ski mask start? Were you on board with it when you first heard about it?
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember if it was Jalen Mills or Rod. I think it was Jalen Mills, but we're just like talking about, wearing the ski mask or something. And then it was like we should just wear it, whenever somebody get a turnover. And then we just said, we're going to do it. And then we started, obviously, it created a little bit of momentum, created some fun on defense. Guys are having energy. Now every time somebody takes the ball away, you want to, we're looking for it, and guys want to be the one, with it on. And I think it's, a metaphor, especially over the last month, of where we wanted to be, or what we needed to do to be able to get in here. And if we want to, we got to go take it. We got to go take hold of, our own destiny. We got to steal, the ball, steal some games, steal whatever it is we need to get into the postseason. And it's been something that's created a lot of energy.
It's obviously a fun thing, but can that mindset actually help it? Seems like the turnovers have picked up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they usually come in bunches. That's how that goes. But I think, for us, I think, especially from a leadership standpoint, you look for small things sometimes that sound kind of silly when you talk about it outside of the context of football. But those small things just inject energy into the team. And so whatever it is that you can do to make sure you're having fun, that can create some momentum, you do those. And for us, it's been something that we can rally around, at least on defense, when we got so many young guys, we got so many people that doubt, and so many things that we've had to fight through. To kind of have that to rally around was I think, much needed.
What are some of the challenges facing this offense with a mobile quarterback, a lot of misdirection, a Sproles-type running back in Cohen? What kind of challenges they present for you?
I mean, it's a challenge. They do a good job of switching things up. Like you said, you got different running styles with different backs. They go different personnels. They give you, a couple plays that are 1 or 2 snaps only in a game, and you might never see it again, but you got to prepare for it. They check the discipline of your defense, but then they do a good job of getting themselves into good plays. So if you're packing the box, then they're throwing the RPOs on the outside, trying to get 4 or 5 yards there. If you're short on the outside, they're throwing bubbles. They'll abort the run if you're in split safety. So they do a really good job of punching and counter punching. So you got to do a good job make sure we're disciplined, and the guys who are there at the point of attack have to make the play, be solid tacklers in space.
As a follow-up to that, it becomes cliche to compare every undersized running back to Ertz, but is Cohen kind of the closest you've seen in terms of playing style and size?
I'm not going to disrespect Sproles and call anybody Sproles.
Yeah.
And I think Cohen deserves his own respect and his, for who he is. I think he's a guy with some exceptional quickness and speed, to create what's not there. And they do a great job of using them in all kind of facets of the game. Most running backs who step out of the wide receiver position, their route tree is usually limited to 3 routes maybe, but he has the whole route tree at his disposal. I think he leads their team in receptions. So to do stuff like that is there's not many backs in the league that have that versatility. And so he's special in his own right.
Malcolm, after the New Orleans game, did you ever, were you wondering whether you were going to be able to stabilize the secondary, whether it could get to where it is now or it's not? I mean, where it's
No. I mean, it's a matter of time, like anything else. We went into the New Orleans game with, guys coming up from the practice squad, and so there's some things you just can't learn on the chalkboard. You got to learn by going through it. We put a lot of guys in the fire. Obviously, had a lot of injuries, and then even that game had injuries within that game. I think Rasul Douglas is somebody who, with all of the playing time he's had this year, has gotten better week in and week out, and now is one of the reasons we're having a lot of success on defense. So from going from being, from struggling to now being one of the strong points, Avonte Maddox has been a bright spot in the defense since he stepped on the field. So having him back off of injuries immediately had an impact. And you got guys that have grown. Quavon LeBlanc's come off the street and just played solid ball in the slot for us. So he's made us better day one coming in there. And then obviously Corey Graham, Trey Sullivan, playing their roles. It's been getting better and better with the more experience we get. I think Jim is doing a great job of putting us in some defenses that allows guys to stay settled, to know where they're supposed to be and play fast. So hopefully we'll continue to build on that.
What's been the biggest difference for Rasul? Just confidence?
I think it's just experience. I mean, in this league, you can't – everybody knows the coverages. You know what you're supposed to do. Everybody can play cover 3, cover 2. But you can't line up and play it the same every time and expect to have success. There's so many different caveats based on splits, formations, tendencies that, a 1-yard difference in your alignment is the difference between you making a play. And that's before the ball's ever snapped. And those are things that I think, as you get experience in this league, you start figuring out how to put yourself in position to make plays. His ability has always been there. That's something that jumped off the tape, when he first arrived. But now consistently, throughout a whole game, keeping your concentration, lining up in the right place, putting your eyes where they need to be, he's learning how to do that over a larger span of time, and has been playing great. Tackling and covering, he can do that in his sleep. But all those small things, communicating, making calls, making sure he's lined up in the right place is something that he's starting to do more and more. And he's putting himself in a position to make a ton of plays.
What's it going to be like for you to go back to Chicago? What are some of your feelings as you think about going back there?
I don't really have no feelings, honestly. I mean, it's a playoff game. It's the only thing I'm feeling. It's a playoff game. Thinking about last year.
How much do you guys feel like you're in a rhythm here and can be really dangerous in the playoffs?
I think we're peaking at the right time for sure. I think we just got to keep building and practice hard each and every day. Just sky's the limit for
You
us.
feel like you guys are kind of the underdogs again. Everyone's counting you out. No one's expecting you to do much. You're the last team to get in.
Just keep counting us out. That's all I got to say.
It's a very different situation from last year when you had home field advantage. This year you're out on the road. You really had to win these last 3 games out to get to this position. How much can you though pull from the run that you guys went on last season?
Honestly, I love away games. I mean, no disrespect to our home crowd at Philly, but I love away games. 'Cause, I mean, I love hearing the other team raw at the beginning of the game, but they quiet at the end, so that's fine with me.
You had a big postseason last year. You've been hot recently. Mike Rose said you have a sense of the moment. Is that something for you? Like you know when the stakes are highest?
I can't wait for this game for sure. That's all I got to say about it. Like I agree with Mike Grove, but for sure I can't wait. I mean, we playing the Bears, but if we was playing anybody else, I still couldn't wait to play this game. I mean, I'm excited to be back in the postseason.
But like something you said to us last year was that big time players make plays in big time games. Is that your personality when stakes are the highest? Would you say?
I mean, I feel like there's no pressure on us. All we got to do is just execute and just play our game, just play football.
What has made Nick Foles so great in big moments and in big games?
I think just Nick, just being Nick, just relax, and just taking it one play at a time. And he always say, just be where your feet are. So I think he lived by that.
Hey, Alshon, remember the beginning of the season, so many of us were like saying, oh, you know, this team's got the Super Bowl hangover. Somehow you guys have been able to beat that. How do you think you were able to beat that?
I think you guys keep saying that. So keep saying that. I think it's working in our favor, but at the same time, we just believe in one another, each and every guy in this locker room.
Alshon, you've had a bit of a rough stretch in the middle of the season, but it really turned around lately. What has been different for you lately?
I don't think it was a rough stretch. I mean, we just playing football. As a team, we wasn't able to win a few games, so I don't think it was one player or one guy.
Everybody talks about the front seven, but how good is the secondary going to be facing on Sunday?
They playing football. I mean, they got a lot of turnovers. They haven't played the Eagles, though. But, I mean, they got a lot of turnovers. Hats off. I get those guys credit. They playing football.
You've made some tough catches in your career. What are the most impressive catches in your eyes? Which catches do you rank as your favorites?
I think my best catch so far probably against Minnesota.
Okay, the one in the corner of the end zone when Chris Cook got flagged? Okay.
Yeah.
And you caught it over his head?
Honestly, let me take that back. I think in the Super Bowl because we won the game.
Okay. So the Chris Cook one's the number 2?
Yeah.
Actually, that's what Mike Rose said, those 2 catches, the Super Bowl catch and that catch. How do you do it? What allows you to make those types of catches?
I think just my basketball background. Just let me go up and make a play.
When you hear strong hands, what does that literally mean? Are you able to grip the ball better than others? Do you just high point it better? What's the skill set there?
I just think something come from when I was younger. I had an older brother. My older brother used to throw the ball to me so hard all the time. So I think it worked out. It helps out.
And so you've said to us in the past, the 50-50 ball, you don't view it like that. But do you specifically tell the coaches or tell Nick, throw the ball up and just give me a chance?
Yeah, that's what I told him. Nick feel the same way. Coaching staff, we all on the same page.
So those exact words,
just throw it up, give me a chance.
Yeah.
Is there something you said that you play with a bunch of different quarterbacks? Some quarterbacks throw deep balls differently. Is that fair that, whether it's 40 or 50 yards, the trajectory, the way it goes, have you played with quarterbacks where you liked it a certain way they threw the deep ball?
I mean, certain quarterbacks do throw deep balls differently, but at the same time, I always look at it, it's still football. Just throw it up and just give me a chance. Just get it there.
Okay. It sounds like, from talking in the past, Chicago still holds a big part of your heart. Is it going to be fun going back there? To the city, at least?
I love the city of Philadelphia, man.
Okay.
I love the city of Philadelphia. Chicago was just when I was there for work.
Okay. So is there any emotions for you playing the Bears this weekend?
I don't got no emotions. It's a football game. They're in the way of where we're trying to go.
Yeah. You care how you're received when you kind of jog out there?
Boos, it don't matter to me. I play for the Eagles, so that comes with the nature of the business.
Does it fuel you when you get those boo birds?
It don't matter to me, man. I'm just playing football.
You had that game circled on your schedule last year. Does it still have meaning the second time around?
Nah. Like I said, it's a playoff game. They ain't the way where we're trying to go. That's how I look at it, just one game.
Alshon, you've been around the city a couple of years now. The last few weeks, how have you noticed the vibe in the city changing with you guys winning and becoming more successful?
I just think we peaking at the right time. Just the way we playing, offense, defense, special teams. think the LA game was really getting us right where we need to be.
If I can follow up on the best catches of your career, what's 3, 4, and 5?
I just said the first two was just something that happened. I mean, it's still the book is still yet to be written.
Alshon, is there anything about Soldier Field that you've talked to the guys? I know certain fields have different, footwork, traction. That field's kind of frozen a lot. Is there anything that you remember about playing there that
the
you'll
field,
take into?
the field is terrible. I definitely know that. But at the same time, it's football, man.
Is it? I mean, you had great games there. So I mean, is it when you say it's terrible? Is it?
I mean, I'm
you
talking
have to work
about
harder to get your traction, or?
You definitely got to wear you got to wear studs. You got to wear screw and crease. I mean, but when I was there, we always used to tell the equipment manager, like, we got to change the field, get the field better. But not disrespecting it like that, but I'm just saying, it is terrible.
And now, do you feel like you're getting hot at the right time? You said the team. How about you personally?
Whatever my numbers call, I'm just trying to make a play. We just trying to win games. So whatever it is that's going on out there, trying to win games.
Going back to the deep ball question I asked you, does Nick throw it in a certain way that you really like or that you've become accustomed to with him?
Nick just throw it up and just give me a chance to make a play.
What did your teammates say the difference between now and a month ago was just you guys are just having more fun. Obviously, winning always helps that. But when you say fun, like, what is fun right now?
I don't know. It's just something about this locker room feeling special. That's all I can say. You just got to be in here to feel it. We just having fun, hanging loose, and just letting the chips fall where they may.
Is there any point where you feel like it changed, though? Like, when did it become special again?
I honestly don't know. Like I said, you got to be in the locker room just to feel it.